Now I gotta ask you the tough questions.
Remember, at the end of the day, I pay your bills. Be careful.
Oh, yeah.
I ruined our lighting.
You got a hair out of place, Mark.
Thank you. My few hairs left.
Okay, first of all, I would like to start off by saying I wore this shirt first, and you were second.
I love it to look like you.
Dad.
Shouldn't we be, twins? No?
Twinning's not a thing.
We got twins in the family.
Oh my goodness. In your career, you've had a very interesting kind of pathway to where you are now, considering going from the very impressive job as an ice cream scooper at Haagen-Dazs to leaving and entering EY a bunch of times, kind of seeing those risks involved, and even being an entrepreneur and starting your own law business. Can you explain, I guess, the risks, having 4 kids and going through all these transitions? What was that like?
I'm just impressed you know what I did. That's incredible.
Oh, okay.
It's, you can't explain your career path, and there's always risks. And as you know, and I talk about it all the time, it's really important to take calculated risks. I've been blessed. I've done a lot of different things, and they've all added to, who I've become. No one would have planned it when I started out of school, but, having the support of my mom, my dad, my whole family was great. So, what I've learned was when you come out of school, your degree enables you. It doesn't define you. And so now I'm running a big accounting firm, and I don't have an accounting degree. And, now we're expanding professional services. I'm getting into whole other different areas. When I had my law firm, I never practiced law before. And, I worked in the government for 2 different presidents. I didn't have a political science degree. And I've always said to you, you can do anything.
Right.
And so what I've tried is to take good risks. And thankfully, I had your mom, who was really supportive, and we had 4 kids under 6 and taking a 70% pay cut. I couldn't have done it without her. So, it's really important to take risks in life.
You've definitely taught me so much, kind of going throughout my own career paths, letting me know that don't stress too much about your major. It's really what you do with it and how you learn, and not necessarily what you learn. So I can imagine you've taken all these experiences, and it's kind of shaped who you are today, which is just very dedicated and very determined, and someone who really makes us proud.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
That's your only compliment for today.
I was going to say, I'll take it. Take it. I'm happy you're doing this interview and not your 3 brothers.
Yeah, you're lucky.
It's easier in hindsight. I can't tell you that when you start out. You're going to have anxiety, as we've talked about, but when you have the support, with my dad, every time I got a new role, a new job, and I'd be so excited, I'd call my dad, and I'd say, whether I became the Assistant Secretary of the Treasury or whether I got a new role at work. And he'd say, that's awesome, but remember, I love you no matter what your title is. And that confidence is what gives you the ability to take those risks and to keep moving on and try new things. And as I said, you pick the right partner in life, and your mom always let me take those risks. You're going to have unbound opportunity. I can't wait to see what risks you take and what you're going to do. And it's going to be great, you and your brothers.
Pool table, take 1.
Playing games going too.
Big butt.
I know.
Ooh, can't believe you made those.
So as you assumed kind of the role you have now, I know Nanny had quite an interesting encounter with the reporters.
Yeah, that was a wild one. I can't even remember that. That's really...
who could forget it?
You wouldn't think she was so supportive when I did become the chairman of COVY. The local paper called her up. You remember this? And basically, she, they asked her, "What do you think? Your son becomes the chairman of COVY?" And she said, "Quote, no one is more surprised than me."
Wow,
End of quote.
That's the sign of a great mom,
Well, she swears she didn't say it. I don't know.
But with your busy career and kind of traveling 4 days a week, you have this incredible balancing act that you kind of have to perform on a daily basis between your EY family and your family here. But I feel like you're always there for us. Every weekend you're always home. I mean, remember you came back from China for my driving test and I passed. I just like to let everyone know that.
Well, thanks, honey. Thanks for saying that. It's, when I first took the role, we knew it was going to be demanding. And I came and I asked first Sean and Ben, who at that time were like 12 years old, can I take this? It's going to require more time. And their answer was, well, we don't really know what you do now, so go ahead and take it. Remember that. And then Noah was a little bit more direct. I said, can I become this chairman and CEO? It's going to infringe on our time. And he said, are you going to make more money? And I asked, well, what don't you get now that you need? But you were the really, it was really cool. You were the most insightful, and you asked the right questions. You said, will you still be there for me? And will you still coach the kids' basketball teams? And this, will you still prioritize us? And I said, of course I would, honey. And you had trust and confidence in me that I would never forget who I am and where I came from, like my dad expected, because you knew I wouldn't give that up. And when you said, well, then your EY family must need you as well, and you should do it, that gave me the confidence and go and do it. And it's not easy. You don't feel in balance ever. It's not like I can tell you you feel like somehow you got it all worked out. But you gotta protect your seat at the dining room table when you have your seat at the conference room table. Otherwise, life doesn't work out. And I thank you for letting me do the job.
Wow, I didn't know it had such a big impact. This is great.
I don't know what I would have done if you said no. That would have been harder.
So throughout your career and your life, with all these kind of successes that you've had, what would you say is the best decision that you've ever made? Tough
I
one.
would say it is, but I would have to say the best decision I ever made was asking your mom to marry me.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
Well, it's amazing when you think about something like that, and you think about just your relationship at the time. But then I think about how I got these 4 incredible children, 3 plus you.
All right. Okay.
And I think about literally I couldn't have accomplished what I did in life without a partner who was going to be supportive. And I didn't know that at the time. We were young and we didn't know how things would work out. Leaving several times to go take pay cuts and be an entrepreneur with 4 kids under 6, it was quite incredible.
I hope you didn't forget the little memento we made you for your birthday recently.
I may be old, but I didn't forget it by last month.
I mean, let's see, we got 55 reasons why we love you and some great memories in here. Let's see, what is this one?
This was awesome. I can't believe you guys did this. It's really neat. You spent all this time.
You make all holidays and vacations fun and family oriented.
Remember, that's what you say now. That's great.
Right.
It didn't say at the time necessarily, but that's awesome.
You're the glue to the strongest family ever.
Oh, sweet.
That's
Thank
a
you. Thank you.
one.
You come to all our games and workouts, even though you had meetings all day. That's really neat. Yeah, well, that's important.
You still cheer me on in football, even when I threw up on your nice shirt in the old house. Which brother was that?
That was Sean.
Oh,
I remember that. Absolutely. That was Sean. You brought me to my favorite singer, Josh Groban, and then I fell asleep. I remember that. It wasn't you. That was Ben.
That was Ben.
These are great memories. I'll cherish this forever, hon. Thank you. I hope you got that.
Considering kind of all these changes that are going on in the world, what are we looking at in the next kind of 20 years? Like, what am I getting myself into? Can you shed some light on that?
Well, I'll try.
Okay.
It's, it's really important to separate the signal from the noise. So right now, there's so much disruption. There's terrorism. We had the Brexit vote. We have, United States. We have a lot of different opinions all coming to the surface, and it seems like it's a tough world. But bottom line is we've all been through this before. And if you look long term, there are some major things that are going to be important for you in your business life. And that's globalization. We're not going to be able to stop it. It's going to keep happening, and it's a good thing. It's bringing more and more people out of poverty, and you'll have teams that you'll work with that are 10,000 miles apart as opposed to down the hallway.
Do you think this globalization would kind of like help the diversity aspect? I mean, even the gender issues. I mean, considering I'm your only daughter. I assume you've thought about it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. As you know, I have.
I
I'm
know.
very, very passionate about this. You should have every single opportunity your three brothers have, and I'm confident you're going to take them. We've got ways to get there, but your generation is socially aware. I mean, the diverse teams working with people from different backgrounds, religions, and cultures is going to make us closer, and we need to do that globally. We need to do that as countries. But you and your generation is doing it individually better than we did in the past, and we're learning from that. And I think that's going to be really, really important.
So I think it's really clear to say that you've definitely are leaving a legacy, whether it be to us as an amazing father, to, all the companies you work for. What do you want your legacy to be?
Legacy makes it sound like a lofty proposition. I mean, what you want in life is to make a positive difference, whatever you're doing. So whether it's at work with lots of our employees all over the world to try and empower them to have better lives and their families, that's great. You want people to be happy that they encountered you, and with you, your brothers, and Nancy and our extended family, it's really to do everything I can to make you all happy. And so there are people in this world who suck oxygen out of a room, and there are people who breathe air into a room. And you always want to be that person that you want around who breathes air into the room and makes you feel better.
So, with your dad, how is he, just like you guided us and you taught us kind of what's right, what's wrong, you really gave us a moral compass. How did your father guide you? How did you learn how to kind of be a father, I guess?
Well,
you had a great role model.
I did, but you're always learning, hon. It just takes a lot. But my dad was great. So he was in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and he wanted to go off and really travel the world. Yeah. But what happened was his father passed away, and he had to come home, and he took over the business with his brother. And he had a great sense of family. He was the youngest of five brothers. Wow. And he always focused on family no matter what. So he was the best man at my wedding and my best friend. And what he said was, and it's the best advice I've ever gotten from anyone, is never forget who you are or where you came from. And that's the North Star, the moral compass that helps you make every decision later on. And so what I do now is put it through every decision I have to make. I just put it through that test. And you never forget the people who helped you get where you are, and you never forget everything you learned from them. And I think over time, that's the best advice you can hope for. And I hope you remember that as you grow up.
You've definitely very much instilled that kind of in our daily lives, and to always kind of remember him through that. What would you say would be something you would wish you had told him if he was around?
So it's a great question, because everyone probably goes through and you somehow lose your parents quicker than you want. But I don't regret. I always told my dad I loved him, so that was something that was really important. So you should say that a lot.
Oh, okay. Is that a subtle hint right there?
That's a subtle hint.
Okay.
And I think he knew. What I really didn't say to him, which is why I say it so often, all of you, is how proud I was of him and what he did for us and what he did for his brothers and what he did for the person he met in the street and the person who was his boss. And he treated everyone just wonderfully. And it made me so proud, and I wish I had a chance to tell him that.